Are you trying to make a ton of money on Etsy next year? I've made over $1.4 million on Etsy, over $1 million in profit. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what I learned in 2022 and what I'm going to be doing in 2023 that is going to take me to that next level. I don't play small. I have some huge plans for Etsy next year. So if you like videos like this and if you want to learn more strategies about Etsy, how to make this a really high volume, high revenue, consistent business for yourself, definitely subscribe because that's the type of stuff that I talk about on this channel. So a little background here. I've been on Etsy since 2016. I've made over $1.4 million in revenue on the platform, $1 million in profit. I also sell on Amazon and Shopify. My whole background is high volume corporate e-commerce. I was managing, $100 million portfolios. Okay. So that's my background. Fast forward to 2022. This was the year of growth for our family in every way possible. It was our first full year with 2 children. We purchased our first multifamily property. Up until this point, we had only been doing single family homes. We did 2 renovations. We started another new business and we managed 3 e-commerce streams for the first full year. So that's Amazon, Etsy, and Shopify. Not to mention, I've literally helped hundreds of other Etsy sellers grow and scale their businesses through my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint. And that's all been over the last 5 months. So what did I learn from this year and what is next for 2023? The first lesson I learned is that as a business owner, I am an athlete and I need to be in top performance shape or everything that I'm carrying on my shoulders will just crumble. So this year I was so busy and operating at a pretty constant state of high stress, high adrenaline, of survival mode with some really high pressure situations. So we bought a multifamily property that was $800,000 here in Southern California. We had to kick tenants out for the first time. We did 3 tenant turnovers. We did renovations. We maintained a less than 2% vacancy, all while handling 2 kids plus, an e-commerce business that did $30,000 to $40,000 a month and also starting a new business. So yeah, it was a lot of stress and my immune system was compromised. So compromised that this fall I ended up with pneumonia, which then led into this disc issue with, extreme nerve pain and a totally numb arm and hand for like almost a month. During this year, every once in a while, we'd catch our breath and we'd look at each other and say, whoa, how are we doing all of this? What I learned after, being in this constant state of high stress is that without health, you literally have nothing. It's one of the things I took for granted before this year, and it's one of the things I'm going to protect more in the future because at this point, I'm carrying too much on my shoulders, too much responsibility that I can't afford to not have my health. The second lesson I learned is that I need to hire before I need to hire. So when your time is 100% filled, in order to raise the ceiling on your earning potential, I learned the importance of farming out those lower dollar per hour tasks. So this means all cleaning, cooking, home stuff, laundry, fulfillment. You can only earn so much if you keep doing all of that yourself. The next thing I learned was the 2 easiest ways to grow my Etsy shop. Number 1, to stop doing the production myself. And number 2, to focus first on profitable customers and then on the product mix. So customers first, product second, always. Without the first, you have no business and you have no guarantee of sales. The next thing I learned is that I'm not the only one who can do things well. I had gotten into such a routine with my Etsy shop. I thought it was going to be so hard to find someone or to train someone to fill my shoes. But that was so short-sighted of me to let that hurdle stop me. And by the end of the year, I have outsourced almost all production and fulfillment. The next thing I learned is that if you plan to grow your business to that 6-figure, multi-6-figure, 7-figure level. Yes, 7 figures. And if you are married, then it's really, really important to stay on the same page during this growth phase. Decide now if it's going to be a team effort or a solo effort, because either way, it's going to impact the other person. And you might realize that you might be able to make this way bigger with way less resentment if it's a team effort. And that is if you work well together and if you each focus on your core competencies. If that is your plan to go 6-figure, multi-6-figure, 7-figure, talk to each other about what sacrifices you are willing to make before you're faced with the decision of making those sacrifices. So this year, more than ever before, my husband and I have become really close business partners. Yes, he's 100% active duty military, but he's also a multi-6-figure earner himself under our umbrella of businesses. So as we are growing and scaling so many different revenue streams at this pace and to this level, it is incredibly important for us to be 100% in that growth together so that as our businesses all grow together, we are also growing together as a couple. The next thing I learned is that if you are making more than $300,000 a year profit, and if you have no state income tax, then it can be more beneficial to take the full income of the business as a salary instead of a distribution. This is if you're an S Corp. So I learned that, while the S Corp will minimize Medicare and Social Security taxes if your net income is below $150,000, but as we surpassed $300,000, it made more sense to maximize salary versus taking distributions due to us not paying state income tax. So you don't know what you don't know. And thank God I learned it before the end of the year so I could reverse those distributions and take the full salary. The last thing I learned is that it really, really, really doesn't matter what people think. And at the end of the day, most people are more focused on themselves, not even thinking about you. But the journey of entrepreneurship is 100% different than what it's like to work for someone else. And not many people will understand it. You will be judged for what people perceive as your priorities. People will look down on you for doing things that are non-traditional. They will even shame you for your ambition. And it can make people uncomfortable. Your job is to really be a steward of your God-given talents and gifts. So if you keep those talents inside, you will never know your potential, and you'll miss the opportunity to make the world a better place for yourself, for your family, and for everyone else. Never let the judgment about your hard work slow you down. Instead, just realize that you might be blessed with a no-quit mentality that not many people have. And if you're in a corporate job right now and you have a no-quit kind of relentless personality, I challenge you to rethink what you're doing, because relentless people can be extremely successful if they can get out of the constraints of a corporate role. So what is next for 2023? Number one is hiring and focusing different people on different things, different product specialties, different roles within the Etsy shop. I plan to move fully out of production by the end of the year. I would expect to have maybe 4 more employees by the end of 2023. The next thing for 2023 is reinvestment. Our businesses thus far are very low overhead and very high cash flow. So yes, investment-wise, we're maxing out the SEP accounts, military retirement plan, 529 plan for the kids. We do pretty much everything we can. This year specifically, we're going to be looking at moving some of this cash flow into online banks that are growing with at least, 3% interest so that the money is liquid and ready to deploy into real estate when there's an opportunity. So unlike a CD, with these accounts, it's earning, 3 to 4% interest, and you can put up to $250,000 in each account. And what this will do is it'll keep the money liquid so we're able to jump on an opportunity next year when it comes up. So in 2023, I would expect reinvestment into maybe 1 or 2 properties. Third thing I want to do next year is networking. Now, very few people who actually know us know what's going on in our world. So my parents know, our CPA knows, and our financial advisor knows. But we really need to do a better job of networking here in Southern California to develop more business relationships. So right now, we really don't have anyone in our life who is doing what we want to be doing. So we want to meet people who have built what we are wanting to build. Since my husband and I are both more introverted, it takes more of a concerted effort to do that. But you become like the people you surround yourself by. And right now, we are not surrounded by any of the people that we want to kind of learn from. The next thing I want to do next year is spend more on experiences. We are literally at a point where we don't even have time to spend the money that we're making. But I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So we're looking at 2023 and planning travel, like taking my parents on trips, things like that, so that we can fill this year with experiences that we will look back on in 10 years and think, wow, that was really cool. So having all of production hired out next year will really help us achieve this. And the last thing I want to do next year is really add to my business mentor arsenal, which means I need to learn more to earn more. My motto of last year was probably learn more to earn more. And going forward, there is one mentor that I really, really, really want to learn from. but you need to be making between $1 million and $10 million per year in order to work with this person. So my goal is to get our business to a place that we would qualify for that mentorship. This is a big goal, and I'm sure the mentorship would be expensive, but I also am sure it would have a very strong ROI. So my goal, I'm putting it out there, would be to get our business to a place by the end of this year to where we would qualify for that mentorship. And that's what I have on my radar for 2023. I would love to hear if you have a goal for 2023 for your shop, for your business. What is that ultimate goal? And don't be shy. Put a big goal out there. I want to hear it. If you want to connect, send me a message at Dylan Jarris over on Instagram. Otherwise, you can always email me, team@dylanjarris.com. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.